so that the direction of the picture is in the script. Everything is in the script.
What are these scripts about? I say scripts, but we also have a stage play today. So can you pitch us? I don't want to pitch it like you want to sell it. I want to pitch it like, what is your story about, based on the fact that you are talking to other script writers in the same digital virtual room right now. Bridget, do you want to start? What is your story about?
Yeah, so I was thinking about weddings a lot. It's about a wedding. It's about a girl whose sister's getting married, but she can't stand her sister's fiance, and so therefore she's having trouble writing the maid of honor speech. Basic writing a speech, because she's my best friend and I wanted it to be, she's like I wanted it to be perfect. So I was really stressing about writing the speech and blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of thinking like that would be a good idea for a short film script, blah, blah, blah. But I need some more oomph. And then I was talking to my roommate, and my roommate can't stand her friend's boyfriend. And I was like, there it is. I'll take that. I'll put it in this script and I'll make it a little bit funny, make it a little bit kind of cheeky, but also have that emotional turmoil of like, I really love my sister and I want her to be happy, but I'm not sure about this guy. And like, would it be better to say something or not? In what scenario will this end up well? So a lot
You get a win in the student category.
Mm-hmm.
How many pages is your script?
I think it's like 15.
I know the answer, but I want you to say that.
I don't even know. I
think it's 16. That's the info I have.
It is so many times. Yeah, it's about, I think it goes on to the 17th page a little bit. But yeah, 15 to 20.
Cool. The amount of pages sometimes can help the authors to comprehend the scope of the story you talk about. That's just why I'm asking. Christina, what is your play about?
So my play is about two siblings, and they are living in a beach house, kind of isolated off the coast. And then one dark, stormy night, a stranger washes up onto their shore, and they have no choice but to bring him into their house. And it's about exploring what happens when you bring a stranger into your house after being told all your life to keep strangers out of your house. I was quite fascinated by that idea. It's 3 characters, so it's a 3-hander play. And I was just quite attracted to that idea of a thriller on stage. Because the first play I wrote, the theatre company, it was very immersive. So you were sat in the theatre on swivel seats and the stages were all around you. So you were really in the middle of the action, which I think I got inspired by. And so when I wrote this play off the back of working with them, I
had that in mind.
The idea of, just having everyone there and everyone sort of, I know it jumps a lot of scenes. So there's a lot of scene changes, but I was quite, I was quite attracted to that idea of immersing the audience in a thriller in the house and the strangers in there with them. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Alexis, what about you? What is your story about?
My story about, it's not an oral story. Maybe the title can be a little bit confused, but it's weird love history because the principal character writes a letter to the ex-boyfriend death for homophobic attack. So the letter is from him because the dead boy is a writer and he teach to the principal character, if you write, when you write to the person is not with you, for 1 second, for what moment is with you. So he try to write all the time this letter for him because he tried to convoke the ghost or the soul of the ex-boyfriend with him.
Okay, very good. Victoria, what is your story about, with a little bit more details than what you just already said?
Certainly. Behind the Seams is about India, who is a 50-year-old woman who owns a slow fashion boutique. And the every episode is a gradual journey towards her discovering a couple of family secrets that her parents have been keeping from her. And the hints to those secrets and the clues are in pieces of recycled clothing that have a relationship to her and her family. So it draws on the current trend of, well, not trend, but the current need for slow fashion and for us to slow down the landfill with designer fashion and things like that. And also talks about familial secrets and that it doesn't matter how close your family is, everybody still has their own secrets, and they don't necessarily need to share them just because they're family.
There is one thing in your writer's statement that caught my eye. You started to talk about it a little bit, about being a sandwich.
Yes.
You being a sandwich in the way that you're kind of trapped in between different situations, different moments in life. The way you write it in your writer's statement, it's very funny. And I related to that a lot. Can you elaborate a little bit about it, please?
I certainly can. Even in the UK, the government has identified politically that there is a generation that they have labelled the sandwich generation. And so the sandwich generation are experiencing their older generation getting older. People have never lived so long as they are now.
Yeah.
But they're not living independently. So it's the younger generation, the 50 plus, that need to care for them. And then the younger generation, our children, are finding life more difficult understandably than we did in previous generations. So our children are more dependent on us financially, emotionally, physically, geographically. So it's as though this generation is sandwiched between those two and struggling with their issues as well as our own without being able to find our way into a more independent phase of life.
And basically,
retirement.
That generation is taking care of the older generation as well as the younger generation. And there's that thing happening where who's taking care of you, basically, because you have to take care of the kids because it's much harder for them now than it was before. And the elderly, you have to take care of them because it's how it works. It's family. So how do you get out of that?
How do we find new love if we've lost love? How do we find new careers if we want to? In generations gone by, people could retire and go and live by the sea. We can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Alexi, you said that you had your first novel published. You actually had your second novel also published. And you wrote in your submission that that script is kind of the first serious attempt you wanted to make into film. How is that?
Well, it's different when you do a script or when you write a novel. You know, it's completely different. So I don't know. All the time when I publish my first book, I feel it's not enough for try to for show my idea. So I think the cinema is perfect because it's visual. You hear, you see. It's a little bit different. So I just start 2 years ago. I tried to do cinema, and now I start to do.
I understand. Christina, you the first play you mentioned that you wrote was produced and performed. Your first short film is on Amazon, so people can watch that. Now you're coming with that new stage play. What is I want to ask already, what is your next step? Because it looks like everybody's working kind of well for you. So where do you want to go?
Well, so it wasn't a short film, it was a short story. It was published on Amazon.
Okay.
But I wrote that as well during my master's as well. So it was kind of to test to see how it works on there. But yeah, I actually am still working in theatre. We just had a play on this weekend at the Fringe Festival. And it's mainly kind of keeping going with the theatre, but I'm also writing books as well. And I mean, because that was my background when I was studying writing. And I find it a lot easier going back there now, because to build on characters and also the dialogue as well, I feel like it just comes naturally after spending so much time working in theatre, because with theatre, all you have is the dialogue to rely on. You can't rely on anything else. And hopefully that builds a relationship with the audience as well.
Did you ever write, you said you have a script. Did you write scripts in the past? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you describe the difference between writing a script and writing a play? Because it's different. You know, the script is going to supposed to become a movie.
Yeah.
Like Alexis said, it's different to write a book or a novel. A play, you have to write it in a way that you want to keep the people in the room entertained. So how do you make it happen? How is it different to write a play than another form?
I think with scripts for screen, it's sort of a mixture of writing a novel, in terms of you have to describe a lot of what you want people to see, but then also you have the dialogue as well. Whereas with stage, you don't really, unless you really have to describe the stage in description of what you want, it doesn't really matter, because you've got a stage, you've got all of the people behind the scenes doing all that, and they do fantastic work. It's a big team effort. And then you find at the end, when you're there hanging around, everyone's doing tech and you're just completely useless at the end. So I think writing a stage play is, you just have to really think about what you want the audience to see. And also there's a lot of really conscious decisions on scene jumping. I mean, you can have a lot of scene changes, but I'm just remembering doing a read through with the recent play, and at the end, the tech guy, the lighting designer, and the sound guy at the end were very quiet, and they just went, "Yeah, there's a lot of scene changes."
This is going to be challenging. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it is something you have to be conscious of, because I do think quite big visually, and I want to go here and there and do everything, but with stage you just can't.
At one point, you have to come back to be practical a little bit, which is good, because it forces you to find solutions in the storytelling to make it happen the way you want. Bridget, back to you. Are you still in film school?
No, I just graduated.
No, you just read. Yeah, you just said it, and it's written on my paper. Just graduated. Sorry. How is it important for you to go to film school? What do you want to do with it? Did you learn what you wanted to learn in film school? Because I know you also do a lot of videography. So what do you learn on location, with clients, with people? And what do you learn in film school? And how do you reconcile that to be the better artist possible? This sounds like a very complex question. This is not how I wanted it to come out, but I think you get my point.
Yeah. So when I was a teenager and I was kind of looking at where I wanted to go to college, I was originally like an actress for a long time, for probably from when I was 5 up. So I was thinking about what the best way would be to get myself an education, but get myself in a place that would help me further my career performance-wise. Mm-hmm. So I decided that I was going to just learn how to make movies in case nobody wanted to cast me, and then I would just make my own. So when I was in high school, I wrote a bunch of movies, short ones, and then I made them. And then that got me entrance into a school called DePaul University. And I went there for 2 years, and the film program was good, but it wasn't personally for me. I wanted more of an emphasis on academics. So I ended up transferring during the pandemic to Boston University, which was a journey, let me tell you. It is already hard to transfer schools and get all your credits over, but it's even harder when you can't even go into class and everything's on Zoom.
Yeah.
I transferred to Boston University and I finally got exactly what I wanted. I got to be on sets all the time. I got to write a lot. I got to help do cinematography. I got to do set design. I got to do writing. I got to do directing. And I kind of just took all my eggs and put them in different baskets to figure out what I wanted to end up doing.
You had the chance to experience all the different positions, so you could feel what was maybe what you wanted to do specifically.
Yeah, and as an actor, I think it's really important to learn how movies are made so that you don't take them for granted, I think, in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody else's jobs are really hard as well. And, you know, acting is a job that is pretty much purely emotional and not super physical. So it was interesting for me to kind of do all of the very physical jobs, like setting up lighting and learning how to use the camera. And that kind of made me appreciate acting more. Yeah. And now that I'm out, I have had a taste of everything, and I would like to keep doing everything until I find something that sticks. So like throw spaghetti at the wall until it sticks. You know what I mean?
We discussed a little bit practicality with Christina a little bit ago, and being on set and to have the chance to see how it's done, to learn how you actually make the movie. I believe, I mean, it did help me to write better scripts because I read a lot of scripts for the Paris Festival. I do that. When sometimes you read the script and you say, that script is never going to be produced. It's never going to get produced because it's too big. It's no producer is going to give you that amount of money to a script writer or a producer who's it the first script or something like that. When you know how it works, you can tailor your script, your stories around the characters, which most of the time makes it better and makes it more realistic to actually make the film out of it. So film school and everything, I agree with what you said.
So that the direction of the picture is in the script. Everything is in the script.